Welcome back to the Old Photo Vault channel. Get ready for a real journey through time. Stay with me until the end, because the conclusion may surprise you. Don't forget to leave a like to support our work and share your thoughts in the comments. The Horned Guest, Bavaria, Germany, 1901. At first glance, this eerie photograph appears to capture an ordinary family portrait, until your eyes meet the towering, horned figure at the center. The unsettling presence stands tall among the somber-faced family, its long fingers and fixed grin defying all sense of normalcy. Taken in early 1900s Bavaria, the image has been whispered about for generations, with tales suggesting it depicts a local folklore spirit who blessed households with both fortune and fear. Whether a clever costume or something more sinister, the photograph radiates an unshakable chill, as if the past itself is watching back from the shadows. The Forest Giant, Northern Europe, 1914. Shrouded in mist and mystery, this haunting photograph seems to show two men standing beside a colossal, beast-like creature deep within a forest. The air feels heavy with silence, as though nature itself holds its breath. Some claim it was part of an old myth, the forest giant, said to guard ancient lands long before man set foot there. Others insist it was an early experiment in optical illusion or film trickery. Whatever its origin, the image carries a strange, primal energy, a reminder of how small humanity truly is when faced with the wild, untamed unknown. The Giant Horse of Sussex, England, 1923. This remarkable photograph captures a group of workers standing proudly beside an enormous draft horse in Sussex, England, circa 1923. The animal's towering stature and muscular frame make the men beside it appear almost childlike. Stories say this horse, named Samson, was one of the largest ever bred for logging and hauling heavy timber through the English countryside. Whether enhanced by early photographic tricks or not, the image exudes raw strength and human pride in the bond between man and beast. It stands as a symbol of an era when power was measured not by machines, but by the might of nature itself. The Woman and the Mummy, Los Angeles, USA, 1988. In this unsettling yet strangely fascinating photograph, a young woman sits calmly beside a mummified figure, as if posing with an old friend. The contrast between her serene expression and the shriveled remains beside her is chilling, almost cinematic. Rumor has it this image was taken behind the scenes of a film set, though some believe it depicts a real museum relic temporarily on display. Whatever the truth, the photo captures an eerie dialogue between beauty and decay, a quiet reminder that time spares no one. Yet somehow, moments like these live on forever through the lens. The Giant Shark Catch, San Diego, USA, 1913. This astounding photograph shows a group of fishermen standing proudly beside what appears to be an impossibly massive shark hauled onto the docks of San Diego in 1913. Its gaping jaws, lined with serrated teeth, seem large enough to swallow a man whole. For decades, this image has sparked debate. Was it a real catch, an early photo manipulation, or perhaps part of a film prop? The men's stoic expressions only deepen the mystery. Whether fact or fabrication, the photo captures the raw human fascination with the unknown depths, a chilling reminder of what might still lurk beneath the waves. The Man Without a Head, London, England, 1901. At first glance, this eerie image seems to defy logic. A well-dressed gentleman sits calmly, holding his own head on a silver tray while tipping his hat with invisible grace. Taken in the early 1900s, this photograph is one of the earliest examples of darkroom trickery, using multiple exposures and clever composition to create a chilling illusion. In an age before digital editing, such imagery stunned and delighted audiences, blurring the line between science and the supernatural. More than a century later, the photo still carries that haunting charm. Proof that imagination has always been mankind's most powerful magic. The Headless Dancers, Paris, France, 1954. In this haunting yet mesmerizing image, two women appear to hang upside down from a tree, their elegant black dresses swaying softly in the wind. Yet their heads are nowhere to be seen. Captured by the surrealist photographer Jamart, the photograph blurs the line between beauty and horror, turning grace into something ghostly. The composition, perfectly balanced between shadow and light, evokes the eerie stillness of a dream, teetering on the edge of nightmare. It's an image that doesn't simply ask to be understood. It demands to be felt, unsettling the viewer long after the gaze has passed. The Forest Creatures, Japan, 1938. This peculiar photograph shows three figures dressed in handmade monster costumes, standing together in what appears to be a wooded countryside. Their strange, amphibian-like forms and hauntingly human postures evoke both amusement and unease. Believed to have been taken in Japan during the late 1930s, the image is said to depict festival performers or local actors portraying mythical river spirits known as kappa. Yet, the aged sepia tones and eerie stillness give the scene a surreal, almost otherworldly quality, as if the myths themselves had stepped out of folklore and paused for a portrait. The Masquerade Banquet, Versailles, France, 1928. This surreal photograph captures an opulent dinner scene where aristocratic guests appear frozen in a moment between elegance and madness. The woman on the left wears the powdered grace of 18th century fashion, while her companion, disturbingly, dons the face of a snarling hound beneath a towering wig, believed to have been taken at a private masquerade in Versailles. The image plays with themes of disguise, desire, and the animal within the human. The crystal glasses gleam, the laughter seems about to break. Yet something deeply unsettling lingers in the air, like a secret no one dares to name. The Woman and the Sasquatch, California, USA, 1976. In this curious black and white photograph, a smiling woman embraces a towering, fur-covered figure in the sunlight of a California forest. The creature, whether man or myth, bears the unmistakable likeness of the legendary Sasquatch or Bigfoot, whose sightings dominated American folklore during the 1970s. Some claim the image was taken on the set of a TV show, while others insist it was genuine evidence of an encounter. Regardless of its origin, the photo captures something timeless: humanity's strange affection for its own monsters, and the thin, blurry line between fear and fascination. The Transformation, Los Angeles, USA, 1981. This chilling photograph captures a moment of metamorphosis. A man caught mid-transformation into a snarling beast. The image, taken during the production of a groundbreaking horror film in 1981, showcases the artistry of practical effects at their peak. The blend of human and animal forms, frozen under stark lighting, evokes both terror and fascination. It's a haunting tribute to an era before CGI, when monsters were born from latex, light, and sheer imagination. The scream caught between human and wolf still echoes through cinema history, a reminder that fear, at its purest, is transformation itself. The Masks of Madness, Wisconsin, USA, 1957. These grotesque masks, with their cracked skin, empty eyes, and smeared lips, seem to stare back from the edge of nightmare. Said to have been crafted in the late 1950s by an anonymous artist in rural Wisconsin, they were rumored to be part of an experimental theater project exploring fear and identity. Yet, the unsettling realism, the eyelashes, the seams, the human-like texture, has led many to believe there was something darker behind their creation. Whether born from art or obsession, these faces feel disturbingly alive. whispering that the true horror often hides behind the masks we wear every day. A Smoke with Death. Hollywood, USA, 1959. In this macabre yet strangely charming photograph, a well-dressed man leans in to light a cigarette for a skeleton, as if sharing a casual moment with an old friend. The scene is both darkly humorous and symbolic. A waltz between life and death, performed with elegance and irony. Taken in Hollywood in 1959, the image is said to have been part of a publicity shoot for a classic horror film, celebrating the era's fascination with the morbid and the theatrical. It's a perfect snapshot of mid-century Gothic wit, where death wasn't feared, but politely offered a smoke. The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Paris, France, 1939. This powerful image captures the unforgettable portrayal of Quasimodo, the tragic bell ringer of Notre Dame. His twisted face and haunted eyes reflect both the pain of rejection and the beauty of compassion buried deep within his soul. Set against the grandeur of the Paris cathedral, the story turns suffering into poetry, a tale of love, faith, and isolation that transcends time. The photograph freezes a moment where humanity meets monstrosity, and we are reminded that what society calls ugly often hides the purest heart. The Creature at the Door. Unknown location, 1966. In this chilling photograph, a skeletal wolf-like figure peers through a narrow window, its hollow eyes glowing faintly in the dark. The image, grainy and eerie, has long circulated in paranormal circles, some claiming it captures a demonic apparition known as the Door Watcher. Others insist it's simply a clever hoax, born from the age of black and white horror photography. Yet, the expression frozen on that bony face feels too knowing, too alive. Whether spirit, beast, or illusion, this figure stands as a haunting reminder that sometimes what waits behind the door isn't meant to be seen. The Disfigured Soldier, France, 1918. This haunting portrait shows a World War I soldier whose face bears the devastating scars of battle. Known as one of the Gueules Cassés, broken faces, he survived the horrors of trench warfare only to face a new kind of war upon returning home: the struggle for dignity. The photograph, both painful and powerful, captures not just a wound of flesh, but the deep emotional toll carried by those who endured the unthinkable. His eyes, steady and unyielding, speak louder than any uniform or medal, a silent testimony to courage in the aftermath of destruction. The Armless Acrobat. New York, USA, 1891. This remarkable portrait captures an armless performer from a 19th century American sideshow, proudly posing in his ornate costume. Despite his physical limitations, his confident posture and direct gaze command respect rather than pity. During this era, performers like him turned adversity into artistry, astonishing audiences with feats of agility, strength, and grace. The photograph stands as both a historical record and a quiet act of defiance, a testament to the resilience of those who refuse to be defined by circumstance, transforming what others saw as tragedy into triumph under the spotlight. The Catacombs of Palermo, Sicily, Italy, 1902. This haunting photograph captures the eerie stillness of the Capuchin catacombs in Palermo, where thousands of mummified bodies line the walls, frozen in a grim tableau of mortality. Clad in their final garments, the dead seem to watch in silence, their faces twisted by time and decay. Once reserved for monks, the catacombs became a resting place for nobles and citizens alike. A chilling display of devotion and vanity. The scene is both macabre and strangely peaceful, a reminder that in death, social rank fades, and only the echoes of humanity remain among the dust and bones. The Soup Parade, Paris, France, 1926. This whimsical yet unsettling photograph captures a street parade in Paris, where performers march in towering papier-mâché masks shaped like smiling heads topped with giant soup pots. The event was part of a promotional procession for a popular bouillon company, blending absurd humor with early 20th century surrealism. Beneath the laughter and spectacle, there's something haunting about those frozen grins, a playful nod to the grotesque charm of French street theater. It's a snapshot of an era when advertising, art, and performance blurred together in the most curious and dreamlike of ways. The Dark Icons, Hollywood, USA, 1983. This striking black and white photograph captures a trio of Gothic legends at a Hollywood event in the early 1980s. The woman at the center, with her dramatic makeup, plunging neckline, and wild expression, embodies the campy allure of horror cinema, flanked by two classic gentlemen of the macabre. Their contrasting poise and her electric presence create a perfect balance between old-school elegance and modern Gothic rebellion. The image feels like a meeting between eras, where timeless horror charm shook hands with the rising spirit of dark comedy and theatrical glamour. The Lovers in Masks, Ohio, USA, 1957. In this eerie yet strangely tender photograph, a couple stands hand in hand beneath the night sky, their faces hidden behind grotesque animal masks. The contrast between their formal attire and the unsettling disguises creates a surreal tension, a blend of innocence and unease. Believed to have been taken at a small-town Halloween dance, the image captures more than just costume play. It reflects a quiet mystery, a shared secret between two souls who chose to face the world as something other than themselves. It's haunting, intimate, and oddly romantic, like a love story whispered from the shadows. The Mummified Fairy, Derbyshire, England, 1911. This eerie specimen, known as the Derbyshire Fairy, was reportedly discovered in an old mine shaft in 1911. With its shriveled flesh, hollow eyes, and delicate, insect-like wings, the creature blurs the boundary between folklore and nightmare. For decades, it was displayed as supposed proof of supernatural life, until experts later revealed it to be a meticulously crafted hoax. Yet even knowing its origin, the sight of it still chills the imagination. There's something deeply haunting in how humanity seeks to give form to myth, to capture the impossible, even if it must be built from bone and illusion. The Stilt Woman, Florida, USA, 1935. This curious vintage photograph captures a tall circus performer towering over a smiling attendant, her long skirt concealing the stilts that make her appear almost otherworldly. Taken at a traveling fairground in Florida during the 1930s, the image reflects the golden age of American sideshows, where spectacle met imagination and the strange became beautiful. Her haunting yet graceful presence seems both playful and eerie, like a figure from a dream caught halfway between heaven and earth. Even in stillness, she carries the spirit of performance, fragile, surreal, and endlessly fascinating. The Rabbit Cult, Essex, England, 1922. This chilling photograph depicts three figures standing solemnly in a forest, dressed in dark gowns and wearing grotesque rabbit masks with hollow eyes and elongated ears. Said to have originated in rural England during the early 1920s, the image is often linked to local folklore about a secret pagan sect that worshipped fertility spirits of the forest. Whether the photo was part of an art project or a genuine ritual remains unknown, but its unsettling symmetry and lifeless stillness evoke a deep, instinctive unease. It feels like a moment not meant to be witnessed, a glimpse into a ritual better left forgotten. The Masked Stranger, Illinois, USA, 1915. Captured on a snowy suburban street, this unsettling photograph shows a lone figure dressed in a dark coat and cane, wearing a grotesque mask that seems to grin unnaturally. Taken in small-town Illinois around 1915, it's believed to depict someone participating in early Halloween or Mardi Gras festivities, though its stark composition gives it a far more haunting tone. The empty street, the lifeless trees, and that frozen smile together create a sense of quiet dread. A fleeting moment where festivity turns into something almost spectral. It feels as though the figure isn't posing for the camera, but waiting for you to approach. The Polar Bear Tamer, Berlin, Germany, 1952. This astonishing photograph captures a circus performer standing face to face with a towering polar bear in post-war Berlin. The woman, poised and fearless, commands the audience's breathless attention as she meets the beast's gaze mere inches away. It's a moment of fragile trust, one slip away from disaster, yet filled with grace and mutual understanding. In an era when danger was part of the spectacle, this image symbolizes both human daring and the uneasy bond between beauty and the wild. The silent tension between them speaks louder than the crowd's applause. The Shepherd and the Stone Monster, Bomarzo, Italy, 1954. This hauntingly beautiful photograph captures a shepherd guiding his flock before the gaping mouth of the ogre, one of the ancient sculptures in the Park of the Monsters in Bomarzo, Italy. The colossal stone face, carved during the 16th century, seems to devour the man and his sheep in a surreal tableau of myth and reality. Nature has softened the sculpture with moss and age, giving it the eerie impression of being alive. The contrast between the quiet simplicity of pastoral life and the monstrous grandeur of stone makes this image timeless. A meeting of man, beast, and legend beneath the same sky. The Spider's Web Ballet, Paris, France, 1928. This mesmerizing photograph captures a surreal stage performance at the Folies Bergère in Paris, where dancers enact the Spider's Web Ballet. Suspended on ropes and wires, the performers form a living tableau around an enormous spider prop, its legs stretching out to ensnare them in a web of movement and illusion. A masterpiece of stage design and choreography, the performance symbolized seduction and entrapment. Beauty caught in the threads of danger. The haunting symmetry and elegance of the scene embody the artistic daring of the 1920s, when theater was both dream and delirium. The Krampus March, Tyrol, Austria, 1933. This haunting winter scene shows a group of men dressed as Krampus, the horned demon of alpine folklore, making their way through the snow-covered mountains of Tyrol. The annual Krampuslauf, or Krampus Run, was a centuries-old tradition meant to frighten away evil spirits and punish the wicked before Christmas. Cloaked in fur and bone, these masked figures stride through the white silence like ancient spirits reborn. Their presence is both terrifying and majestic, a reminder that beneath the joy of winter festivities lies a shadow older than Christmas itself, the echo of myth that refuses to fade. The Silent Departure, Gotland, Sweden, 1966. In this haunting still from an old Swedish film, a woman carrying a suitcase slips away from a seaside house, her figure dwarfed by the cracked marble face in the foreground. The statue, with its weathered expression of melancholy and detachment, seems to mirror her inner state. Frozen, yet breaking from within. The barren landscape and muted sea create a quiet tension between escape and memory. It's a moment suspended in time, where art and life reflect one another in silence. A farewell that feels both deeply human and achingly eternal. The Faceless Crowd, Tokyo, Japan, 1964. This haunting image, taken from a Japanese avant-garde film of the 1960s, shows two men facing each other amid a sea of people wearing featureless masks. Their blank expressions dissolve identity itself, turning humanity into a shapeless collective of silence. The contrast between the two unmasked faces and the faceless mask behind them evokes themes of alienation, conformity, and existential dread, a reflection of post-war Japan's struggle between individuality and societal pressure. It's a vision both surreal and prophetic, where the loss of face becomes the loss of self. The Lady in the Radiator, USA, 1977. This surreal image comes from a haunting sequence in David Lynch's Eraserhead, featuring the enigmatic Lady in the Radiator. With her puffed cheeks, doll-like hair, and eerie smile, she embodies both innocence and unease, an angelic figure from a nightmare. In the film, she sings softly, "In heaven, everything is fine," a refrain that feels comforting yet deeply disturbing. Her face glows in the darkness like a vision from another world, a symbol of fragile hope amid industrial despair. She is beauty wrapped in the uncanny, tender, tragic, and unforgettable.